right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Jamie Miller. Jamie, how we doing?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good, Jamie. And Jamie, talk to us a little bit more about yourself and what you're kind of up to nowadays.
Well, I am young MMA fighter. I retired last year due to injury. I've had a crazy long journey with ACL repairs and things, and so I finally just hung up the gloves last year because my body just did not want to let me keep going, and so decided to retire. Then planned on opening my own gym, which I realized wasn't really my calling. And I've found myself just kind of, I found a new passion working in public safety. I'm actually already a domestic violence advocate, so I've been doing that for the past 8 years while I had my career going because I was a survivor. So, I made the transition, and so now I use my MMA knowledge and all of my experience to teach self-defense to survivors of crime, domestic violence, and also I offer one-offs to anybody who wants to train. I work a lot with kids and teens, and so it's been a really cool journey. Not at all how I thought it was going to play out, but I'm here for it. It's been great so far.
That's awesome. I'm definitely glad to hear you're doing some awesome things. And when it comes to your MMA career, I mean, what was maybe some of your favorite memories that you may have had?
Oh wow, yeah, so many. I will have to say, I actually just posted this story on my Instagram. So this will forever be my favorite story because it was my first fight back since essentially fleeing my abusive relationship, and I experienced homelessness. I lived in a shelter as a single mom with my daughter, and about a year after I transitioned out, if I could backtrack a little bit, actually, when I was living in the shelter, I decided that part of taking my power back was to start doing things um, that I love doing, that brought me joy, which was training and pursuing my goals and my dreams. And so I actually started training um, when I was living at the safe haven, and it just gave me all the tools I needed to essentially power through everything that I was experiencing off the mats. So just in like my life and just dealing with the day-to-day struggles. And so a part of me almost felt guilty for gaining and receiving like all of these amazing tools that were helping me get through my situation. So feeling like I wanted the other clients, so to speak, at the shelter to have what I had. And so I had the idea to start a self defense and fitness boot camp for the clients there, which I did do later on after I transitioned out. But about a year after I transitioned from the safe haven, I had my first fight. It was a short notice. Um, I was already like training and like just staying ready for anything. And so King of the Cage called, and they needed a replacement for their number one girl in California. She was on the cusp of UFC. I mean, this woman was a freaking bulldog, and I was a nobody. I was 1-0 at the time. I hadn't fought in quite a few years, and so, but I accepted it because I'm like, fuck it, why not? Like, and I felt ready, and I flew out to California with a teammate, just sort of, ready for anything and everyone. And I almost like remember feeling with myself like I was sort of like my own secret weapon. It's like nobody knew me, but like I knew me and I knew what I was capable of. And so I ended up knocking her out in the fourth round, like knocked out cold in the entire arena. I mean, it's like thousands of people. Like they literally brought me in to lose. I was just basically, meat for this lion, food for the lion. And so, I silenced a lot of people, put myself back on the map that day, and then just my career just kind of went up from there.
Yeah, no, your career definitely went up from there. And then on top of that, I mean, you fought a bunch of tough opponents, but who do you think was maybe the toughest opponent you ever faced in your MMA career?
Um, ooh, that's a good one. I would say, God, that's a tough one. I would say probably Macy Barber.
Yeah,
Not
Mason Barber is
only
definitely
because
tough.
she is just tough, and I mean, when I fought her, she was huge. Like we fought at strawweight and weigh-ins. I was like, okay, like I got this. And then the next day, she just was like, she was massive. So she was just, yeah, definitely a tough fight.
Now, when you face someone like Macy Barber, did you ever expect her to maybe be in the UFC and where she's kind of at now today?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Yeah, there's just certain people that you come across or certain people that you fight, and you just, there's an energy there, and she's definitely has a skill, and she was young, so she was like really, you know, growing and improving with each fight. So like, yeah, I could totally, you know,
Yeah.
see that in her.
No, that makes sense for sure. And when it comes to your walkout and stuff, how did you end up picking your walkout song and kind of describe like what it kind of meant to you?
Yeah. Oh, geez, I've had so many walkout songs, but the one that stuck was Bishop Briggs, um, Dark Side, and it's a very like almost like it's kind of like a slow song, but it's almost sort of like I'm gonna get you. It's like a very slow. Like I felt like for me, it's like a fight that I'm like dragged like slowly, like I don't know, sealing this person's fate. I have no idea, but it just always gave me like the energy I needed to like get in that mindset. So yeah, Bishop Briggs, Dark Side.
I like it. I like it. Now, when you were training and everything like that, who was maybe some of the best training partners that made you the best version of you?
Um, oh, all my training partners. All of them. Everybody that I've had the opportunity to train with on the mats. Everyone like so the thing about our gym, Marquez MMA, is everybody trains together. Everybody has the you know we all train the same practices. Like we never separate the amateurs from the UFC guys. Like everybody all trains together, and so I think that um, is great because you can, obviously if you have more experience, you can really test yourself against the up and comers. But then, if you really want to get that push that you need, then you can go with some of the guys that are a little bit more experienced. But I would say they've all, for the most part, like mentally, we're all always on that same wavelength, and we all are fighting and working toward the same goals. And so when we get there, it's work, and we know why we're there, and we push each other. So I would say all my training partners. I mean, um, yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite. So I just say, everybody contributes to the goal. So,
That's definitely awesome. I'm glad all your training partners were helping you out. And do you happen to remember your first day ever walking on the mats? And if so, talk to us a little bit more about that very first day.
my first day on the mat, like ever,
Yeah,
or
yeah, first day ever.
oh man, geez, Louise. Okay, so this was back in 2006, I believe. I was living in Myrtle Beach at the time. Fun fact about me, and I had actually was sort of didn't have much of a direction. And a friend of mine at the time was teaching kickboxing class and had no idea I was interested in it at all. He asked me to come to his class just for moral support, and I did. And the moment that I walked in, I just felt like I was home. That feeling of home, like everything from like the smell of the gym, which I know sounds disgusting, but everything from just like the smell, the energy. I was like, all right, this is where I'm supposed to be. And then I never stopped training after that day. I just knew that it's what I wanted to do. And interestingly enough, at that time, women in MMA was, you didn't see much of it. Like my inspiration back then was like Gina Carano, Chris Cyborg, like Misha Tate. And yeah, I just remember thinking like, all right, if they can do it, like I can do it too. So I always looked up to them and was always just, yeah, staying motivated. And I actually started competing in boxing and kickboxing first and then transitioned to MMA. So, but yeah, yeah.
That's definitely awesome. And when it comes to like fighters and stuff, like you mentioned, like Gina and Chris Cyborg, who is maybe some of your favorite fighters now that you maybe like to watch?
I've always loved Rose Namajunas. I love her grit. I love her style. She's not a shit talker, which I like. It's so funny because in some of my previous interviews, like with the UFC, when I fought on Contender Series twice, they were trying to bring that out of me, but I'm just like, that's not who I am. I want, my skills to do the talking. Like, I'll do my talking in the cage. And so I feel like she has a lot of that. Like, she doesn't need to shit talk. There's just certain people that don't need to say anything. They just show who they are. So I love that about her. But obviously, she's got the skills, and she's very technical, calm, at peace. Yeah, I love her a lot.
That's definitely awesome. And she's going to be fighting tonight. Are you going to be tuning into that fight
Oh,
as well too?
yeah, I'll be watching.
That's awesome. That's definitely pretty cool. And I kind of I saw you from afar, at least from CFFC grappling. What was it kind of like to watch that grappling event? And do you ever go to any more of those like CFFC events when they have them?
Yeah, I try to go as often as I can to support, the organization, but also mostly for my teammates. I try to support, and I just love it. I mean, I love, all things, MMA grappling, and so there's always like really great matches, and it's exciting. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and I definitely enjoy it. And I, of course, I still have those moments where I'm like, I want to be up there and I want to do it, but my body is just telling me no, but my
Yeah.
heart's telling me yes.
No, I definitely hear you there. And like you mentioned with Dana White Contender Series and stuff, is there any more like cool behind the scenes stuff that maybe a fight fan might not know about that maybe happened when you were on the show?
Oh yeah, I have a great story actually. So the Cutman house wrapping my hands, and I was born and raised in West Virginia, and apparently he had this whole like story about a woman that he dated in Morgantown. So like as he's wrapping my hands, he's telling me this story, and then he just sort of breaks out and the John Denver song West Virginia, like wait, how do I not know the name of that song? Take Me Home Country Roads. Yeah, sorry, slipped my mind. And he's just like singing that to me. So that was sort of like I was replaying that in my mind, like as I was walking out, and like it was kind of, I know that sounds a little weird, but yeah, it gave me energy somehow. But I always felt like it was a cool story. But another cool one was when I fought, um, after my first fight, when I fought Tiffany Masters. Snoop Dogg, that was when they had him on as a commentator for whatever reason, I guess for entertainment purposes. And it was funny, I guess. But during my fight, he, kept saying she can't do it, she can't do it. And just to give you a little bit of context about that fight, I was 6 months post-op, my first ACL reconstruction, and I had no business like getting in the cage at all. But it was, that fighter sort of mentality where you don't want to let the opportunity pass you by. So I said yes and accepted the fight. Basically, trained on one leg for that whole fight. And I get in the cage. First round, I re-injured my knee. Like we were against the cage, and she put all of her weight on my leg because I had it posted out, and it just completely gave out. And so I did re-tear it in that moment, just a partial tear, but it was torn. I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't really explode. I couldn't, shoot him for takedowns. I was like, but I said to myself, if I can stand, if I can keep moving, then I'll find a way through it. And with 20 seconds left, I pulled off an armbar in the third round. But it was definitely a fight to get the armbar because once I had it, I didn't want to adjust to let it go. And so it took me a while to get it. But in his commentating, he kept saying, like, she can't do it. What is she doing? She doesn't know how to do it. And then Uriah Faber's like, she does know how to do it. And then I got it, 20 seconds left. And then Uriah Faber says, you're going to owe this woman an apology. And afterward, I had asked to meet Snoop. So they took me to his trailer. And, of course, you can't even see. It was just all smoke. It was like one giant smoke cloud. Could barely see the guy. And then he's like, as soon as I walked in, I'm sorry, Colleen, Jamie, I'm so sorry. And gave me the biggest hug. He was so sweet. Yeah, it was great.
That's definitely awesome. I'm glad you ended up meeting Snoop Dogg after those comments. That's a really cool story I didn't know about. And when it comes to like meeting other people, did you happen to meet like Dana White as well too?
Oh yeah, I met Dana for sure.
What was
Yeah,
that like?
he's a cool guy. I mean, to me, he's just super down to earth, just conversation like we're having. And, after my first fight, he's like, let's get you, because I didn't get the contract that first fight because my performance was not great because there's nothing I could really do because of my knee. And so, he just wanted me to heal up, get a couple more fights under my belt, and then come back. So I went back the following year for a second time on Contender Series, and then that's when I lost to, what's her name? what is her name? I'm totally spacing on her name.
Macy Barber, right?
Macy Barber. Thank you so much. Oh my God. So, but anyway, after, he was just always really encouraging, and just, he liked me as a fighter, but I just needed more, more exciting fights, more wins. But then from there, it was just, I kept re-injuring my knee, and then that ultimately led to my retirement, unfortunately. So, but it is what it is. It's just, we all have a purpose, and I find that, my purpose in the sport was just different. So, yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm able to use my platform now to help other people, um, inspire others, give hope, all the good stuff. So, I'm proud of all the things I was able to accomplish while I was, still fighting. So.
Yeah, no, you definitely should be proud of all the things you can do, and it was definitely awesome to be on the show twice. That's for sure. And like you mentioned too, fighting as well on the Contender series. I mean, what was it like to kind of be in the Apex, and who did you bring to the show to kind of watch you as well too?
Yeah. Oh, the Apex was incredible. I mean, the whole experience, going to, like, the Performance Institute, all of it was just, everything is just so, like, state of the art, high level. And then you just run into, UFC fighters everywhere, which is cool because you get to meet a lot of people. I got to meet one of my, uh, I guess one of my idols, like way back when. I loved Forrest Griffin, was also one of my favorite fighters back then. So I got to meet him in my first visit to the Performance Institute. And then I would say, sorry, your next question was, oh, who did I bring? I brought my team, my coaches. John Marquez, at the time, was training with Daniel Gracie, so he was with me, and my strength coach, Mike Campbell. And then, a great story with that is, we ended up running into, like, Mark Henry and all the guys from Jersey. So we had, like, a huge group of, like, people. So we all got to train together, which was cool, and just kind of, chill and talk. And then, let's see, for my second, who did I bring? It was same team. Yeah. I'm like, who was it? And then I had, like, my family, my brother, my sister, and a couple of other friends who joined me for that second fight as well. So.
That's definitely awesome. That definitely sounds like a great experience. And then when it comes to you outside of your work and outside of MMA, I mean, what do you typically like to do outside the cage and kind of for fun?
Um, it's always funny when people ask me this question because I'm like, I don't really. There's nothing exciting about me at all because I'm always working. But I guess when I'm at home and I have the free time, I just like to chill. I like to read. I like just having time, quality time with my daughter. We love to walk and get ice cream. Um, just finding things to do around the city, which is always cool. Something going on. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I love just, I'm a very simple gal. So.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And when it comes to ice cream, what's maybe some of your favorite ice creams you like to have?
Oh God, I always go for, like, the cake batter or, like, the cookie butter type with rainbow jimmies or chocolate jimmies.
Oh,
Yeah.
that definitely sounds pretty good. And when it comes to reading too, I mean, what's maybe some of your favorite books that you've read?
Um. Oh, geez, that's so hard. Well, I'm currently reading The Gift of Fear, which is pretty incredible. Um, I've read both of Tim Grover's books, the Goggins books. Those were always. I mean, Goggins, I will say, I didn't really know who he was because I used to listen to, like, motivational speeches all the time. Actually, when I was back at the Safe Haven, and it wasn't until later when I started learning, like, who these voices were on the motivational speeches. And Goggins was one of those. So he's always sort of been like that, inspiration for me, and just, like, the hope that I can, you can really overcome any adversity. It is really all in your mind. And I know that now, overcoming the things that I have in my life, and it's all just, about perception and what you tell yourself and the limits you set on yourself. So, but yeah, he's always been, like, my running buddy, my workout buddy. When I'm, like, in camp, I don't listen to music. I listen to, his speeches or other speeches. I love Jim Rohn or Les Brown. I listen to them as well. They're my two favorites. So, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. And with everybody I have in my gym, what advice do you give them to keep on coming into the gym to keep on getting better and better every day?
Mhm. It's really all about, if you want to improve, you just have to show up. Show up and work hard, and to show up on the days that you don't want to train, because those are 9 times out of 10 going to be your best days. And then you grow from that, and then you build you build your mental strength through that. And but I would say, yeah, just like showing up for yourself, showing up for your team, setting goals for yourself, um, and giving yourself grace. I find that people will quit when it gets hard, or if they feel like they're not improving, or it's just like a negative like dialect that they have with themselves. And I think that something I've learned from a mindset coach that I worked with previously was that it's important to have a deep self awareness, um, and then looking at your sessions, and using positive reinforcement first, and then being attuned and aware of your mistakes, and then just knowing how to fix them, not like harping on them, always saying, at least for me it was, if I made a mistake in practice, I used to go from like stomping off the mat and crying and like throwing a temper tantrum because I didn't slip a punch correctly or whatever. But I got to the point where it's like I didn't slip it and I got hit, and then I say to myself, okay, well, just fucking slip it next time. Who cares? Like, it's gonna happen. It's a fight. It's never pretty. It's never gonna go perfect. Like, we're gonna get hit. So I had to really like reconfigure how I spoke to myself, and how just switching negatives from positive, but also just not being delusional, knowing what I need to work on, and then just making the corrections, and that's all it is. And I think once you are kind of like aligned with yourself and your subconscious, and you're showing up, you're working hard, you're doing the work and pushing through, and not just sometimes showing up, or giving half-ass on the mat. I think those are the times, the hard chips on the mats are when you grow. That's how you get better, is when you push through, and when you show up when you don't want to. I think people get it backwards, where it's like, oh, it's a happy day, or like it's a great session. Like, well, what did you learn that session? You know what I mean? What did you learn about yourself? um, what did you improve on? What did you work on? So if it's easy and you have nothing to improve, or anywhere where you feel like you need to grow, you just have to be humble and understand that you don't know everything, and to be coachable. I think that's probably, I should have said, number one is to always be coachable. No matter how you can be a world champion for all I care, but if you're not coachable, then you're gonna have some problems.
Yeah, yeah, no, I definitely agree. You definitely have to be coachable, or else you're not going to grow, kind of like you mentioned. And Jamie, it's been awesome talking to you. What's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
Um, Final message is to just be a good person, find a way to serve others, be kind. Yeah, just be a good person. Like, it's, these days, this generation, it's hard. But, there's still love and kindness, and we can still spread it by giving it ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, Jamie, I think that's a fantastic message. It was awesome talking to you, and thank you so much for taking the time. And like I said, we're looking forward to what's next with you, and hopefully we can maybe do another one in the future. Thank you so much once again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks
All
for
right, Jamie, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much again for coming
having
on.
me. Bye.